We are joined by attorney Jeff O'Brien for our weekly 3 and Out. 3 stories, usually sports stories. They are today. And Jeff, let's just launch into it. The state high school boys hockey tournament was this weekend in Moorhead, Warroad. They won titles. Good for them. These are 2 basic hockey powers. Moorhead was their second straight win in the big schools. And there are a couple of big schools that acted very small when they lost. And that would be Edina and Minnetonka. Minnetonka lost in the championship game. I mean, there's these kids. How did they? I mean, this can't be the first time they lost a game, but their behavior after the game was abysmal.
It's not the first time they've lost, and it's disappointing on a number of levels, including the fact that the boys' state hockey tournament in the state is getting more and more national attention. I saw some post on X. Someone was joking about how the Minnesota boys high school hockey tournament should really be ranking up there along with the Super Bowl and the World Series. And then they do sell out the Grand Casino Arena, they call it now. They do sell out an NHL arena for high school hockey, and it is a very prestigious tournament. It always has been. So first of all, with Minnetonka, they lost to Moorhead in overtime for the 2A title.
Yep.
And when they awarded, some of them didn't accept their second place medals, and the others just took them off immediately. Second place in the 2A boys high school hockey championship is not something to sneeze at. So it's still an accomplishment. And so it's something they should be proud of, not sulking around because they didn't get first.
You know what? To me, this is coaching and parenting, but it's both.
It's an entitlement mentality. We should win. Right? We should be first. We should have won. So we're just going to pout. Edina, in both games, both incidents happened following losses to Moorhead, which has one of the best nicknames of any high school sports. The Spuds, they're legendary, and they've always been a hockey powerhouse.
Yep.
They had the one guy that was named Mr. Hockey, right after the tournament. Unfortunately, I think he's going to Augustana, so keep them going. Edina got, then they ended up, it was like a punch thrown. It was sort of a fight after they lost to Moorhead. So Edina, the thing is with Edina is the team that you love to hate. They always have been, going back to the days when, Willard Eichel was their coach, and we wear that, his little hat on in the coaching them, and they've always been a big perennial winner. So I mean, they're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys of boys state hockey in Minnesota, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good. They had, and the hat was a lot like, it was kind of like the hat
Landry.
Landry hat. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so we don't have brawls at the state high school hockey tournament.
No, that's not necessary. All right, let's move over to a team we both like, the Tommies basketball. And what did they lose to North Dakota in the final seconds of overtime?
Final tenth of a second. They were tied. It was overtime, and they fouled the North Dakota player with 1/10 of a second left, which put him on the free throw line, and they beat him 67-66. So North Dakota State will play for the Summit League championship next weekend and the winner gets an at-large berth to the tournament. Tommies were the preseason favorite to win the conference. They lost the regular season conference championship to North Dakota State, and then now they'll be watching the championship game from home. So a bit disappointing. It would have been neat for them to make it in their first year of eligibility, but John Tower has a good program. I'm sure they'll be knocking on the door again next year. And, Nico got the Gophers to show some signs of life. So we might actually have some good basketball coming up from the men's side here next year.
You mean for the Minnesota men's basketball? Yep.
Yeah. From both. I'm saying from both. You could get, because the dream would, of course, be that the Gophers and the Tommies both get in the tournament, right?
And then play each other in the first round.
Right.
Or
right.
in the national championship game. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Finally play each other. Right.
All right. And now, what's happening around the item 3? You tell me about what's going on with these states and the money going to players.
Yeah. So there's a lot of chatter going on. We talked about last week about some lawsuits involving NIL contracts where the athlete transferred before the end of the contract, and there's lawsuits for damages. The president had convened a big meeting. I think it was Friday, and a whole bunch of different folks. I mean, there was Nick Saban, the president of the NCAA, Condoleezza Rice. I mean, everybody's there trying to figure out how they can. Everybody identifies that there's some problem in college sports right now. And now, as I've said before, I don't think that the NIL money is the root source of the problem. It's a combination of the transfer portal and things like that. Everybody recognizes something is broken.
Well, they went too far the other way too fast.
Exactly. But guys that are if like I said, I think guys deserve to get paid. But the next round of this is the Mississippi State Legislature is in the process of passing a bill that would grant income tax exemptions for college athletes, and apparently Arkansas did pass a similar bill last year. So now colleges are trying to compete with other schools by having states. You can come here and there's no income tax on your NIL funds.
You know what? Okay, how about no income tax on your Social Security benefits for the old folks who actually have worked all their lives?
How about no income tax, period? Go to consumption taxes. So if you choose to, there's a lot of complaints about, and I see particularly one of the candidates for governor in this state, our senior state senator, Amy Klobuchar, will always be bringing up about the tariffs. And, Minnesotans are paying the prices for those tariffs. Yeah, but they voluntarily choose by buying a product that's made overseas. You make a choice to pay that tax.
Yes, you do.
As to, do we pay taxes on our income? I think it was one of the dumbest things and one of the worst things that the governments have ever come up with at the federal and the state level is taxing income. I think it creates disincentives to productivity and entrepreneurship. And so why don't we just get rid of them generally instead of trying to monkey around with the tax code all the time to generate a desired outcome?
Hey, I'm fine with. I mean, people have raised it and it's never happened. The 10% flat tax. I'm fine with that. Because you get 10% of a billionaire, and you're going to make pretty good dough. You just have to eliminate the loopholes.
I would start. I think that's a start. Like I said, in a perfect world would repeal the amendment that created the income tax and just go to consumption taxes. The worst go to consumption taxes. The worry is if you pass a consumption tax and bring the income tax rate to zero without repealing it, another administration could come in and put it back in place, and now you've got both.
Yeah. Well, and there are ways like for individual states to raise money. If it were me and I was looking to raise money, I'd put a toll at on both ends of I-94 and at 35W when you're coming in from Iowa on those federal roads. I mean, you'll make a ton of money in both of them. So, and that's a choice to come across. And if you come every day, ouch. But it still would raise an awful lot of money. All right, Jeff, we got to wrap things up. Jeff O'Brien, thank you for our weekly 3 and Out. We'll take a quick break, and the BS Show